If I don't give my all, they're not going to put their all behind me. No matter that we're in this small room and this small studio and platform heels, but I have to go full out. That's the only way to make it happen. I remember being in Utah. I can't remember where we were in Utah, but everybody passed by me. They hit all three of the girls, and they passed by me. And I remember sitting there going, don't cry. Like, whatever you do, don't cry. The producer of Boy Meets World was going to be the producer of our TV show, and it never happened because our manager got too greedy, which is something we do need to talk about when we talk about music artists and contracts.
So, you know what? Perfect time. We're gonna transition, guys, to Nobody's Angel, but like I said, I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Bring it.
So if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right.
Okay.
All right? Okay. So 1 and 2 and 1 last 3.
Oh my
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this podcast within a podcast. That's right, I am hijacking my own show to bring the people what they've been waiting for all this time. The first ever episode of the totally official, well, not really official, Nobody's Angel Fancast with founding member Stacey Harper Bell.
Let me tell you something funny about this picture.
Go.
The head on Allie is from a different picture. She didn't like how her face looked. So they took the head off of another picture and put it on that for our album cover.
Iconic album cover, if you ask me. Like I said, we had to do this right.
I love it. Oh, that's.
Wish these pink lights would show up more better on the camera, but yeah.
Hey, I see it. It's the ambiance.
Beautiful.
Wow.
All right. So the first video I am going to pull up that we're going to watch today, I have a feeling, a sneaking suspicion, that is actually from one of your former bandmates, because the name of the channel was Amy Sue.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that she uploaded this video.
Is that the audition? The Disney, to the executives.
The Disney Showcase.
Yes.
So
yes.
real quick, I'm going to make sure the sound is off for this. Let's bring it up for the people in a second, because I feel like this is going to be great, because I want to talk to you about the audition. Yeah, because... Okay, you guys are going to be in a girl group. Well, what does that mean? What do you have to do next? And you have to get... Well, I'll let you take it. How did you guys even become Nobody's Angel?
So Disney has a record label called Hollywood Records. And Disney, back then, even now, is big on synergy. Everything works together.
Yes.
When we auditioned, we actually auditioned in the office of the Disney executives and sang our songs to them, and they signed us right then and there. Totally signed us right then and there. We started working on the album. What you're watching now is us showing the executives from Hollywood Records, from Disney World, from Disneyland, from anything Disney related, showing them our performance, letting them hear our songs so that they could market us everywhere. Not just through Hollywood Records, but through Disney World, at Disneyland, on, what was the radio station? It was
Radio Disney?
Radio Disney.
Yeah.
So this was to show them so they could see who we are, what we're doing, how we sound, and they could figure out how to market us with synergy across all the Disney outlets. So we're in this room, with all the execs sitting in lounge chairs in their suits and ties. And we've already signed, we're part of Disney, but this is now to show them, all right, this is who we are. What are you going to do with us? How are you going to get us out there?
No, because I think this is the perfect thing to show people that are trying to make that. Because, again, and there's shots later in this video where it's like, this is such a small room.
Oh my God.
You get a glance, and there's four guys in business suits in the back.
Oh,
and
no.
It's just.
There's 12 to 15 people in this room.
Okay.
The big wigs are sitting. People are standing with notepads. You know, everything.
That's gotta be
and we're in
awkward.
a small room. Mind you, we've been practicing in this large dance studio. And we show up and we're like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, this is what, okay, here we go. And this also determines how much money gets put behind us
Yeah.
as well.
And I feel like this is, I mean, it's the same for all groups that have to like work their way up and
Yep.
play like dive bars and stuff like that. Here's a
Like,
perfect
look,
example.
you see
Yeah.
them sitting in their lounge chairs. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Okay, and then all
And
these
the
different
video
camcorders and
Yep.
and these videos will get sent to like different executives
Yep.
who will make all these money decisions.
Yep.
But I feel like this is a great way to show people like, you know,
You don't just sign and end up
Yeah.
on,
Well, that-
at the Hollywood Bowl.
well, that and you have to give every performance your all, like, because it could be easy to
never
be
know.
distracted by like, you know, not giving it your all, being in this room, like you said, with guys with notepads, like it's easy to like be distracted by like one person who's not giving you your full attention, but
And when
the show
I
has to go
say
on.
When I was younger, and you know, I would make sure I could dance in my shoes and stuff like that. I feel like that got me ready for moments like this. You know, where if I don't give my all, they're not going to put their all behind me. No matter that we're in this small room and this small studio and platform heels, but I have to go full out. That's
Yeah.
the only way to make it happen.
I love it. And it was like a melody of songs too.
Yes.
So like
It was a compilation of all the songs from our album, from our first album.
I-
That's crazy. I haven't seen that in a minute.
Right?
I forgot Amy Sue had that. I can't wait to call her when I'm done.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I could watch that for a while. But that is going to be true for all the videos we have left today. So the next thing I want to talk about, what the whole reason this interview is happening now and why I wanted it to happen this month
Okay.
is Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know, but like how fan or rewatch podcasts are a thing where people from like old TV shows will go back, rewatch the episodes, and do a podcast of what their
Talk about the episode.
the memories
Okay.
behind it. And
Absolutely.
so we are coming up on your episode at the end of this month. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not.
So if my math is correct, which the last week of May, I want to say they will be talking about that road trip episode of Boy Meets World.
Really?
Yes. So
Wow.
I wanted to get this again. We just talked about synergy between us
that-
and Boy Meets World.
And that was the perfect example of synergy.
Yes.
That episode was written specifically with us in mind. We were supposed to go from Nobody's Angel, our album, to having a TV show. If it wasn't for us, what is that Disney group? Big something?
Big Time Rush.
Big Time Rush would have
Nickelodeon,
never
maybe?
happened.
Yeah.
Because that was the idea that was first pitched to us. We would do the album, and then we would do a TV show based on our lives, playing music, dancing in the show. And the road trip episode for Boy Meets World was them testing us to see how we did as actresses and how people responded to us.
Man.
So that was our basically that was our audition for a TV show.
I'm grinning from ear to ear right now. That was going to be my big exclusive scoop. It's
Yep.
like, because that was my...
And the producer of Boy Meets World was going to be the producer of our TV show. And it never happened because our manager got too greedy. Which is something we do need to talk about when we talk about music artists and contracts.
Absolutely. But so that was always like a theory I had
Yep.
watching the show, because again, like I follow TV so much that for me, when I see an episode that airs in February, I automatically think backdoor pilot. And for that episode, like that episode doesn't feature Topanga. That episode doesn't feature like main characters on the show.
And it feels like too. It doesn't.
such a departure.
It's not a Boy Meets World kind of story either.
Yeah.
They kind of fit his death, the dad's death. They fit it in there, but it can stand out. Those two episodes, they can stand out on their own as well.
I'm going to bring up some B-roll from that episode. So when's the last time you watched this episode, by the way?
Okay, so I have watched it a couple of times only because when my daughter found it, when she was younger. And then I've had, in my teaching career, I've had a couple of parents that recognize me from Nobody's Angel and have sent me clips of Boy Meets World and stuff like that. So I have not watched the whole episode, but I've watched clips a couple of times over the years.
So I guess I want to talk about the entire process from beginning to end because I love Boy Meets World. It's one of my favorite shows of all time.
And I have a script of that episode signed by all of us and all the characters of Boy Meets World.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That is treasure.
Yep.
So tell me, it's so weird because you guys don't even have an album out yet. You don't have a music video out yet. But here you are, like, on this network show.
Disney Synergy.
Right? And you're about to have, like, this is a test pilot for an entire show based around you guys. And there's nothing out there in the public for the public to consume about you.
Yeah.
And it's almost, like, so backwards the way this normally works.
Yep.
So I guess, when do you even remember the first time that this opportunity was brought up to you? Like,
I don't remember the first time it was brought up, but I do remember. I do know that part of our when we signed our deal, that it was part of our deal was we would get a TV show. How we would get to that part, we had no idea. I remember meeting the director. I think his name was Michael. I'm not sure.
Michael Jacobs?
Yes.
Yes.
I remember meeting him. He came in and he met with us before I don't know if he had written the script or not, but he came in to meet with us and get our personalities and stuff. And then when we all went to the first read through, I mean, we were all like, holy, you know what I mean? Like, we were so excited because it's Boy Meets World. Like, we all knew the show and everything. Yeah. And
was there any like imposter syndrome going on? Because it's like you guys are just for them. This is like season 6 of like a well-oiled machine, and it's just like, here are you guys. And
everybody was very welcoming. Yeah. I don't know what was said before we got there, but everybody was very welcoming, and they, encouraged us. They had fun with us. They let us do our thing. They didn't make us feel like we were hijacking the show or anything. So it was an extremely positive experience where it could have been something completely different. Because they could have had every right to be like, why is this episode like featuring these 4 random girls? Like, why are you using us for them? But again, it's all part of that. If you're with Disney, it is Disney's, synergy all the way.
I love that though, because I feel like that could have easily gone the other way. Again, you're in season 6 and you're dealing with, child stars, now teen stars. Egos could easily get in the way. So it's always great to hear, like one of those, like, you're afraid to meet your heroes type thing. It's always great to hear that, it was really great behind the scenes as well.
And we came in very humble too. Not like, hey, this is our show. We were very much like, I cannot believe we're here. Don't say anything. Because they might realize they made a mistake, for us to be on there. And I know for me, and this is something throughout my whole career with Nobody's Angel, being the only person of color as well on Boy Meets World, during that particular episode, because they do have another character that came in and out. But during that time, you don't see a lot of, people of color during those episodes. And that was a big thing for me as well.
Oh, no, so the my last conversation I had was with a woman who is a professional storyteller who consulted on a video game that came out last month on Xbox, but it was a big deal because it was an Xbox produced game with all their money put behind it, and the lead protagonist was a black female, and that just does not happen.
Does not happen.
And in terms of like video games, like we talk about representation in media as far as like TV, movies, and music go, like video games being such a new medium to beginning. It's only a 40 years old medium to begin with. We are so behind the ball. So just to see a protagonist who is a female, who is a person of color, made a big deal. So like when I hear stories about like how the pop music scene was at the turn of the century and how
it was,
and
I
what
remember
the cast on TV shows as well. Like,
we had a show a couple shows in Utah, and we had a signing after it. And at the signings, you would sit at the table. The 4 of us were there, and people would come by and either we had cards with our pictures on them for them to sign, or they had stuff for them to sign. And I remember being in Utah. I can't remember where we were in Utah, but everybody passed by me. They hit all three of the girls, and they passed by me. And I remember sitting there going, don't cry. Like, whatever you do, don't cry. And I cried. But I got up and left the table. And it was like, wow, like, are you serious? Like, this is still, like, happening back in the early, 2000s. Like, it was crazy. But the thing that came out of that was I had fans from there on. Whenever they would come to shows, I collect Black angels. And they would bring me Black angels to the show. Okay. And it was like, okay, I was able to make something positive out of this very negative experience within my small pop world. But it was definitely something that I had to be aware of. And, when it came to when we did our music video, the person they hired for hair and makeup didn't know how to do black hair.
Yeah.
So I had to make them find somebody else. And we're already at the video shoot. Make them find somebody else to come and do my hair and my makeup.
Yeah, so a documentary that I watched recently on Apple TV Plus called Number One on the Call Sheet, produced by Jamie Foxx, and it interviews a bunch of Black actors and actresses, and the idea of being number one on the call sheet and what that means to rise up through the ranks, and how number one on the call sheet sets the tone for everyone else below them. And they talk about, like, again, these are people like, Gabrielle Union or like Will Smith, people that came up in like the 90s or 2000s, where you would go into a makeup trailer and it's just like, that kind of tells how my day is going to go just immediately when you walk into a makeup trailer and see who the people that are on staff are. And what's great now is, like, now that people of color are at that number one on the call sheet position and people dictate the vibe and can set the stage for everyone below them, be in charge, it puts things in their contracts where it's like, well, I want this type of representation behind the camera. I want this many people in the hair and makeup. I want to have final say over this. And it's great that, slow progression, still have a long ways to go, but it's nice. It's nice to see in my lifetime, now that I'm getting older, that I can see the progression. Because, like, I remember what it was like when I was a kid. And even though things are still not great now, it is, I can see the progression.
We are further.
Which is always nice.
We are definitely further along. And it's interesting because I said earlier, my daughter is taking a path. She's 19. And she competes in eventing. She rides horses. And we own a horse, and we go to these shows and things like that, and we can be at a show. We were actually at a show this past weekend, and there was at least 250 entries, and there were only her and another Black rider, and depending upon what shows we go to, people are like, wow, like, you own a horse? Yeah. I don't own a horse. My 19-year-old daughter owns a horse.
There it is.
And she rides it. And he's big. And she wins. So, you see it move, and then I've seen what I've gone through, and now my daughter has to go through it. And some places are totally inclusive, and some aren't. And I had to say to her, are you going to let somebody dictate whether you ride and have a good day? Because I'm then going to be mad at you.
Yeah.
You have to brush it off, or you have to stand back and say something now that you're an adult. But you cannot let how somebody else's opinion dictate your opinion or how you feel. This is what you want to do with your life, then you do it no matter what anybody says.
Yeah. That's one of the things I worry about for my own son, because my wife is Black and our son is mixed, and I often worry about when he grows up, is he going to feel like he doesn't have a place? Is he going to feel like neither community accepts him?
And or feel like he has to choose between.
Exactly. So
how he identifies.
So if being a parent isn't stressful enough, one additional thing to worry about.
Just to add it on to the list of things, right?
So I want to take this time to now, I'm going to grab these headphones, and would you rewatch your performance on Boy Meets World with me?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I haven't seen the whole thing in a minute. Oh Lord, I'm gonna excuse myself for being critical of myself.
No. Here we go. No, that's okay. We can maybe watch it once and then we'll be critical. But for the first time, we should just enjoy it.
Just enjoy it. Okay.
I know from my perspective, I'm probably going to be off to the side, just like jamming out. So apologies for me making a fool of myself.
Not at all. This is cool.
Let's pull it up. Make sure it has.
Okay, first of all, those outfits were horrible. I understand we had to be characters. We
were going to pull this up real quick before we even start playing on this.
We couldn't have had better wardrobe than that.
That is of the time, okay? Like, when I look at this, I'm just like, thank you. I'm back in 1999 where I belong.
And the other thing, too, with Disney, is, I don't know how it is now, but back then they had very strict wardrobe requirements.
I can imagine.
Like, Allie literally had her shirt measured at our music video because it was too many inches above her belly button and from the bottom of her pants. Like, seriously. And she loved to show off her stomach. And so at every show, there would be like an executive like, you need to put that down. You need to lower that.
So I was
I was like, Jesus, you forget you're with Disney. And back then, like, you know, the Disney values, we had a values clause in our contract.
Yeah.
I mean, it was serious. It was serious.
It always like boggles my mind how like some things are okay and some things are just not okay. Weird to me that we spent so much time and energy on measuring someone's midriff, and yet, you know, because we got to keep everything squeaky clean and wholesome.
Yep.
But yet, what are the first words in If You Want to Dance? Go, daddy, daddy, go, daddy, daddy, go.
Not even that.
But
some
that's
of our other songs, like Wishing on You, things like that, you know, had a little edge to it, but we got away with it.
Weird. Again, it's wild. Okay, so let me see if let me know if you hear anything when I press play.
Yes, I can hear it.
All right. It'll only come out of one ear, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm no tech wizard.
I remember it.
I don't know why they let me play around with this stuff. I really don't. It's going to break one day. But, so yeah, let's just watch this. And yeah, I'm going to jam out if you want to jam out with me.
I'm going to see if I remember the choreography.
You're coming back home with me. Hey, I want to hear them sing. You are.
I remember that part.
This is when I think the song picks up and becomes like God tier.
I remember this part. And it's got such a good beat.
I love this little dance move here. I love that.
Rock, rock, rock. So sweet and innocent.
Here's
Now
where
this was not
you serenade them.
We weren't supposed to leave the stage. And then if you did, and so we all just followed.
That's even better.
So the dad looking at us is all improv.
I love that actor too. All right, so
Oh yeah,
I love this dance move coming up right here. It gets me all the time.
Oh, with the cross
Yes.
part? I love the part too. And cross, cross, cross. Pick it up. Ball chin. Push it up and push it up. Wow. It's so crazy that people still remember that episode. And still, out of all the Nobody's Angel stuff, that will be how they recognize me. Wait, you on Boy Meets World in that group, right? That's how I get recognized the most.
Gosh.
And even nowadays, I'll be like, what? Like, you still know that?
No.
And when my daughter was younger, it was funny. We were at a mall. She had to be like 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when somebody recognizes me, you can tell how they kind of follow you around and they haven't figured out who it is yet. Or they have. And they follow you around and they're just kind of waiting for that moment. And my daughter was like, why does that woman keep looking at you? And I was like, she recognizes me. Remember Mommy sang those songs?
Yeah.
And the woman sure enough came. She's like, I'm so sorry, but aren't you Stacey from Nobody's Angel? And I was like, yes, and signed something
Awesome.
for her.
I'm so happy that's happened to you
And
out
my
in public.
daughter
I'm
was
so
just like,
happy.
that's weird. Why does she want you to write her name?
Gosh, man. So when we were texting over this past weekend, and I was trying to tell you how nervous I was. Let me just toss them down there. Hopefully they didn't break anything.
I still don't understand why.
So I've been trying because I know that I wanted to be able to express to myself or express to you in words, you know, what this means to me. So I spent a lot of time trying to think about how am I going to say this.
Okay.
And I think for me, what that song it's a time travel song for me. And for me, when I listen to that song, I'm immediately teleported back to it's 1999. I'm in my bedroom, and the biggest problem in the world is I'm trying to figure out what to say to a girl I have a crush on over AOL Instant Messenger. And it just takes me back to a place in time that I cherish so much. And it's also because, you know, a combination of pop music and Boy Meets World. They're both these things where... Okay, so I'm born in 87. So when we get to 99 and 2000, I'm entering adolescence. I'm entering, you know, first crushes and first romances and all that stuff. So to have a show like Boy Meets World, or again, shows with like teenage protagonists, kind of rare. Like TGIF had that great lineup, but like other than that, it was, you know, hard to see yourself represented on screen just from an age perspective. Like, you know. And so to watch characters who are going through all the same things that I'm going through, and then on top of that, you add Nobody's Angel, you add pop music where all the songs, and I can't remember which record exec said this, if it was like Clive Davis or, I mean, hopefully it's not Lou Pearlman, because if so, I don't want to really want to source him on this. But somewhere along the line, someone said that there will always be pop music as long as there's 13-year-old girls.
Yep.
And it's one of those things where, like, you go back as far as the Beatles to I Want to Hold Your Hand. And it's like the song, you know, I'm falling in love with you. And it's just, it brings back, like, all these emotions. And as I, like, get
There's
older.
an innocence to it. And to that time.
Yes.
That, especially for me, like, as an adult and all the things that we've gone through, I find that people are like, oh, you guys just made me happy. You know? And that time period, those songs were just about being like young and happy and enjoying things. And it's nice to get that feeling and get, you know, transported back to that. And, you know.
And, you know, one of the things I hope that we really need to do as like a society when it comes to like, you know, appreciating art is we get so hung up on like, you know, Billboard charts and album sales. And it's like,
and you know the crazy thing? There's a Nobody's Angel Spotify. My daughter found this. That has our whole first album on there. And it still gets like 200,000 streams and hits a month. And it's like, wow.
That's me.
Is it just you?
That's me. Hopefully it's not just me.
You know? And it's like, wow. But, you know I'm a person that likes to reminisce. And I want to go to the time period where I feel good, that makes me happy, and you find the music that correlates with that and get those, you know, endorphins going. And then you think of the songs, too. One of the biggest things for me is, like I said with my daughter, is the songs we played them as she was growing up and things like that. But the meaning, this is something I never thought would happen. The meaning of the songs change. My favorite Nobody's Angel song was Right There Waiting. Always been my favorite song.
Okay.
Upbeat. I just love that song. And for some reason, having a daughter has changed those lyrics and what that song means to me.
My
You know,
God.
how could I have known?
Yeah.
Guess
I hear it now.
All along, you were right there waiting for me. You know, what was I looking for? What was I trying to find?
That's
you know,
great.
And at my 50th birthday party, I won't say when that was, but it has happened.
It's in the future.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
there you go. My daughter had the DJ play that song and sang it to me, and I cried.
Oh my God.
I cried, you know, and it's crazy how something so long ago can still have a place now in your life, you know. And I went through a lot of things with Nobody's Angel. There were a lot of great times, but there were some bad times as well. And I've been able to come to terms and just kind of be like, yeah, but that was great. Like, just enjoy it for what it was.
Yeah.
Enjoy it for what it was, not try to make it more than what it was. Have an artist like Prince, like, stand up for you and make you feel like you are part of the production and not a part of the background. It's pretty amazing. I sang and performed at the premiere of a Pokemon movie.
Stacey, how many photos have we just gone through? And how is that the thing that impresses your daughter the most?
Exactly.
Are we raising our kids right? I don't know
I don't
anymore.
think we are.
I don't think we are.
So
Can you speak to, like...
Do you want the Disney version or do you want the real version?
I mean, let's get
Do
the
you
real
want me
version.
to pop the bubble or do you want to stay in the Disney synergy?
I mean, it's been 26 years. I feel like we can pop some bubbles. Yeah, let's go.
So